Hey, I'm Shawn the Book Maniac. Welcome to my channel. Just before we get started on this fabulous chat I had with Jyotsna, I just wanted to let you know that uncharacteristically for Zoom, the audio connection, the Wi-Fi connection, whatever you want to call it, between Mumbai, where Jyotsna is, and Tokyo, where I am, was not the best that day. So there are significant parts of this that are a little difficult to hear. Jyotsna and I have worked hard on doing a complete set of, what do you call them, subtitles, closed captions. So if you're having trouble following any of the conversation, please just turn them on, because we have them so that you can follow more easily. That's all I want to say. Now, here we go. Hello, BookTube. I'm Shawn the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with a very special guest, somebody that I have just recently discovered on BookTube, and her name is Jyotsna, and her channel's name is Jyotsna's Bookscapades. Welcome, Jyotsna.
Yeah, thank you, Shawn. Thank you. I feel honored to be here. I feel very nice and special because I'm on Shawn the Book Maniac's channel. This feels nice.
The pleasure's all mine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good, yeah. Having a lazy day here in Tokyo. Where are you?
So I'm from Mumbai, India. Yeah, I've always been here.
I've never been to India. Can I come and stay at your house?
Yes, you can. And let me tell you, the best time to visit India is generally Christmas time. So it's like November, December.
Oh.
Because normally in India, it's like super hot. Like this is our monsoon right now. So we have like 3 seasons. From March to May, we have summer and it's super hot. And you will be more red than you are right now. It's like super, super humid. Normally when it rains, it's more pleasant. But then again, it's like, so the best time is winter. So our winter is the most pleasant winter. And I think many people have told me this. Winter is the best time and you're welcome. You're welcome anytime, any day to India, and you can stay. Like, let me know when you're booking.
I won't pressure you to put me up, but I would love to very much. And
I would be very happy to, show you around. It's a beautiful place, beautiful country.
Okay, how about next weekend? It's okay. Oh no, you said Christmas.
That's fine.
Next Christmas. Here we go.
But if you have a private jet, next weekend's completely fine. I mean, I think.
All right.
Yeah?
I'll get right on that. So tell us about you and BookTube. You've been on and off BookTube for quite a few years.
Yeah, I actually started my YouTube channel in 2017. And yeah, and more importantly, I started the channel as an art channel because I do paint a lot. Like I paint and I read, like those are the 2 things I do. But then I wanted to divulge or kind of diversify the channel into multiple arenas. And then I kind of made a lot of book videos as well. I even made a makeup video, if I remember. I mean, that was a long time back. I think one of my most famous videos has been the book haul video, where I actually buy a bunch of books. Like I get 1 kg of books for super cheap. And that's has been one of my most famous videos on BookTube, which I made in 2017. And after that, I was just off the radar for a very long time because life happened. I was switching jobs. And then later on during the pandemic, I felt like it's a good time to restart. Not that I fell off reading. I was reading a lot. I was using Goodreads a lot as well. Yeah, I'm back on BookTube for good now. I mean, the community now is much better than what it was in 2017. So I don't think in 2017 there were many booktubers around and there was not even a community as such.
I joined maybe 2018 or 2017. I can't remember, something around there. But yeah, I discovered you, I guess, just after you came back. Because I've been watching you since the coronavirus stuff started. That's when I found your channel. I haven't gone back to watch your art videos. Do you want to tell us about your art?
Okay, don't watch my art videos on YouTube. Instead, go and watch my art on Instagram. Because I think the art videos I made on YouTube are pretty juvenile. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, as an artist, I have improved since then. So I post all of my art on Instagram. I really love Instagram as a platform for my art. But I don't think I'll make any art videos, honestly. I love books. I love art as well. So yeah, it's always like a competition. Yeah.
Tell me your Instagram.
It's Joey something. So it's Joee something. Yeah.
I'll put that in the show notes for people. So what kind of books do you like?
I know what I don't like,
Oh,
but
well.
I like everything. Like you give me a book today and I'm ready to read it. Like I don't have like a preference. I read genre fiction, I read literary fiction, I read everything, anything that's under the sun, as long as it's a book. But I don't like YA fantasy much. I've tried it out and I've not liked it. But when it comes to YA contemporary or something in the YA genre, I like it. I love contemporary fiction. I love literary fiction as well. I think I'm in a stage where I'm challenging myself to read more literary fiction because I love reading it, but it kind of dreads me at times. I'm going into something that's very much, I mean, that will make me cry, that will make me emotional. But then I like reading it, but I dread it. So yeah, challenging myself with stuff like that.
That's great. You know, I'm a big literary fiction reader and don't read much
Yes.
else. So yeah. What kind of reader are you in terms of reading habits? Do you read a book at a time, or are you a book slut like me?
Okay. So until 2019, I used to just read one book at a time. But 2020 came in and I decided that, I want to try this book slut thing. And I said, let's just go for it. I started with 2 books. Then I went to 4 books. And currently at any given point of time, I'm normally reading 4 books at a time. So as of 2020, I'm a book slut. So, and I love it. It's awesome. The feeling's awesome.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
I am reading right now. I won't count, but maybe around 12. So.
Okay. I thought your all-time high was 20. I think
I think
2017 or 20.
maybe 18 about a month ago, and it's down to about 12, or I'm not sure what it is now, but yes, 12 is my sweet spot. So 4, if I could get it down to 4, I don't know how that would be. But. And you put up a video recently about slow readings. Can you tell us what that means to you?
Okay, so basically, I myself am a productivity junkie. Like, I love doing things in the most organized and in the most controlled fashion. And the same thing with books, right? Because in 2020, I decided to read multiple books at a time because I wanted to read more books. Okay, and that was the goal. Like, I used to always see people on Goodreads posting 60 books in a year or 100 books in a year and stuff like that. And I said, I want to be that person. I started it like that, okay? And then I slowly started realizing that there are so many videos on BookTube which tell you how to read fast and how to read a lot of books in a year. And I felt, that's good, that's nice. And it's not like I could not manage it. I could manage it. I could read fast, that's fine. But then I watched this video on YouTube, which actually kind of changed my mind a bit, which was regarding this productivity in books kind of setup. Like whenever you talk about efficiency when it comes to your book reading, it's always the number of books you've read in that whole year. And it's never about the quality of books you're reading. It's not about whether that book has changed your life or whether that book moves you in a certain way. It's always about a book after a book after a book. And that's when I realized that maybe I'm also a victim of something like that. Maybe I've also taken it upon myself that I have to read like 100 books a year or so. Not that I want to do it intentionally, but it's something, I think it's like every reader's goal to read a lot of books in a limited amount of time at some point or the other, right? And basically, I saw this video and I thought, you know what, like I read fast and I'm okay with the pace of reading. But what is the use of actually reading a book if you do not grasp much of it or if you do not absorb stuff from it? And that's why I thought that it's important for people to realize that even if you read 1 book a month or 2 books a month or like 5 books a year, all that it matters is that you actually learned something from the book and the books moved you. And that's why it's good to read slow and you are not falling behind and there's no rat race going on here with respect to reading.
I agree 100%, maybe 150%, and quality, not quantity. It's easy on bookish social media to get kind of caught up in the numbers game. And so I made a decision a couple of years ago that I was no longer going to comment on how many books I read in a year because it just kind of feeds into that competitive thing. And I read a lot, but I just don't want to put the number out there. If people want to go and snoop around my Goodreads, they can figure that out. But I think this year my number is going to be quite a bit less because I have focused so much more on slow reading. And for me, reading a bunch of books at the same time is how I slow read. Because if I've got a dozen books on the go, I'm reading all of them slowly. And putting one down and picking another one up that maybe I haven't read since yesterday or since 3 days ago or even a week ago, there's a process of kind of re-entering the book and who is this person, and paging back and reading a couple paragraphs just to refresh your memory and just getting back into the book. And I think that process for me as a slow reader and as a book slut, that imprints the book more deeply. The more slowly I read a book, the more I will remember it.
Yep. I think that's true for everyone, I think.
On the opposite side, if I read a novella, like a 100-page novella, I still want to stretch it out to at least 10 days. Because if I read it in one sitting or I read it in one weekend, I won't remember it 6 months from now. Are you reading anything interesting at the moment?
Yes, I am actually. I'm reading this book, which is called Child 44 by Tom Robb-Smith. I would say it's historical fiction, but with a thriller element to it. And it is based in the USSR. So basically, it's about this particular MGB officer. So MGB is like the state's KGB. And he's like a secret officer, right? So of course, there's like a part of death in it, of course. But the main focus of the book has been how Stalin's USSR was and how they would torture suspected spies. You are not innocent until you're proven guilty. You are guilty the moment they arrest you. And the moment they arrest you, they put you in the gulags. And then you never see the light of the day. Sure. And there are so many torture methods also defined in the book. I mean, maybe it's interesting for me because I was born after the USSR broke down. I really love this, historical take on things that we think were good, but you never know they were bad until you read about it. So, yeah.
I'm not familiar with that author. So who is he? He's a British writer, son of a Swedish mother and an English father. Have you read other books about the USSR?
Actually, I have. I have read Gorky Park by Gorky Park was a famous.
Martin Cruz.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
And I want to recommend a couple to you, and I have them. I'm just going to grab them.
Okay.
This one is A Constellation of Vital Phenomena by Anthony Marra. It is set in Chechnya, which is, of course, another ethnic part of the former Soviet Union and is still part of the Grand Russia, part of Russia. And this is actually post-Soviet era, most of this story. But very much about that kind of political torture and the spies and everything. It is my second favorite book that I've ever read. God, what can I even tell you about it?
But what's the first one? What's the first favorite?
The first one? Maybe I'll get to that later. Yeah, that's a good question. Hang on. It just shows the effect of war on everyday ordinary people. And he just goes so deeply into the characters that you're almost learning about the politics and the war by accident because you're so deeply invested in how these characters are living their lives and how war impinges on them. It's a really heartrending book. And this was Anthony Marra's debut. I think he wrote it when he was not even 30, and it's so good. And then his second book is a very similar topic, and it's a collection of linked short stories called The Tsar of Love and Techno. And this is also somewhat about the Chechenian conflict, but goes a lot more right into Soviet Russia. So I think I would suggest starting with this one. And if you get along with it, then go to this one. This one didn't quite grab me the way that Constellation did, but they're both really, really great. So
okay, yep, thank you. I shall read these. Yep.
Someday. You asked about my favorite book. My favorite book is by a Asian Canadian writer. It is called Do Not Say We Have Nothing by Madeleine Thien. And it is a story mostly set in communist China and very similar themes about war and the Cultural Revolution. And it's a very much of a Marmite book. I would say I rarely hear any negative reviews of Anthony Marra's books. So most people that read his books love them or like them. But Do Not Say We Have Nothing by Madeleine Thien is very much a Marmite book. I would say at least 50% of the people that I know on BookTube who've read it didn't like it or hated it, but that the other 50% have the same reaction that I do. They absolutely loved it. So I don't know which side you'll come down on, but it is one that I would love to see you try at some point.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because India does have a communist party. So Indian economy until some point was very socialist, although it's a democracy, but the economy was very socialist until one point of time. Like you needed licenses to even own a TV. Okay, and this was I think till the late 1980s. And in 1990, they decided that scrap the socialist economy. We need to open our doors to international investors as well. So India had a very good friendship with USSR. There were times when there was like an almost war situation during the Cold War, and it was always USSR and India against the US, and then Pakistan would side with you. I mean, this is a very political situation. So I think reading about the USSR makes me realize, I mean, how did India even deal with the Soviet politics, and why was the friendship so special? So yeah, I think that's why it interests me. Yeah.
So let's jump in. I love Indian literature so much. I mean, there's occasionally I'll read something that I don't like, but for the most part, everything I've read, I've just absolutely loved. So I'm a big fan. I'm not widely read. I'm slightly widely read. Somewhere between narrow and wide. I have read, maybe 15 books that are stuck with me. So I'm really excited to talk to you and chat about Indian literature. You're doing a read along now, right?
Yes, I'm hosting a group read for A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry. And it starts on 1st August. So
it hasn't started yet.
It depends on this video. No, it's not started yet. It will start. So August is when India celebrates its Independence Month. So 15th August is our Independence Day. So I think it was like a good month. So yeah, we have it ongoing, and it's still open as of today. So yeah.
Well, I don't know if this video will go up in time. How long will your group read go?
It's like a month-long group read. So from 1st August till the end of the month.
So here's where my bias comes in about slow reading. I read that book alongside many other books about 4 years ago. And I think I read it over 2.5 months. And that's just an amazing, it's one of the best novels I've ever read. I won't say too much, but it's very heavy. You're going to need a lot of emotional fortitude to get through to the end of it, but it's just amazing.
So all of us can cry in a group instead of like crying, in our homes.
Have a group hug. Yeah, you're going to need a group hug by the time you get to the end of that one. And Rohinton Mistry is a Canadian.
He is?
Yeah, what? Well, he was born in India, but he is Canadian.
He was born in Mumbai.
Okay, well, he's lived in Canada for many decades.
Okay, that's interesting. So basically, like there are these two brothers. It's Rohinton Mistry and Cyrus Mistry. And Cyrus Mistry is written Chronicle of a Corpse Bearer. So even that's like a very critically acclaimed book. But Cyrus Mistry is still in India because I think he does a lot of theater.
Yeah, and I didn't know about Cyrus until a few weeks ago. Maybe I found out about it on your group read video or something. But he and his fiancée at the time, who apparently is still his wife, yes, they moved to Canada in 1975.
Oh, okay.
So he has been there since I was 9 years old. And so he's done all of his writing in Canada. So he's considered a Canadian novelist of Indian, Indo-Canadian novelist, I guess we call him. He has not published anything since his last publication was in 2006, and his last novel was in 2002. So I hope he's not finished writing, because he's one of the best writers living today. A Fine Balance was 1995. It was his second novel. His first novel, Such a Long Journey, I did sometime in early 2020 and talked about it on my channel. It was not as good as A Fine Balance, but it was still a really good novel. But A Fine Balance is amazing. And I have not read his third novel, Family Matters. That will be looking forward to that. I will be very excited to see how your group read goes.
Yeah, same here.
I finished it on audio, so I don't know if there's more than one audiobook version, but the one that I listened to for the last half of the book, I did it while reading and listening at the same time. It was excellent. So what other books by Indian writers have you loved, or what ones do you recommend?
Okay, so let me be very honest. I'm still like discovering a lot of, Indian authors in general. I think all of the Indian authors who are out there, like most of them, okay, like do write a lot of literary fiction, like those who are critically acclaimed internationally, write a lot of literary fiction. But those who are like famous in India normally write genre fiction or fantasy in general. I read quite a few like genre fiction or normal fiction that you don't like by Indian authors in India. But critically acclaimed ones, I like Jhumpa Lahiri, like you can call her Indian American.
Yes.
Like she's like, yeah. Then there's Aravind Adiga, who's like 100% Indian. And I think like one of my all favorite Indian novels has been The White Tiger by Aravind Adiga.
I have it on my shelf. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay. So let me just prepare you for the book before you read it.
Please.
It's a brutally honest book, okay? But not everything is like factual and not everything is incorrect, okay? So it's somewhere in the middle. I think many Indians don't like the book because it shows a very nitty gritty picture of India in general. But I wanted to read it with an open mind because that's not how the socio-economic pyramid works in India. But you can say that for some people or for some underprivileged people, it may work like that. So it's a nitty-gritty book. Yeah, just preparing you mentally for that book. It's a great book. I love it a lot.
Fine Balance, I would use the same. It's a very gritty, tough story to read about how poor people try to survive. Yeah. And his surname is Adiga?
Yes, Adiga.
Adiga. So Adiga has just recently a new book, right?
Yes, he has.
Have you read it?
No, I've not got a chance to read it yet. No. I think Amnesty, that was his book. Amnesty, right?
Amnesty, that's right. Yes.
Yep, right.
Don't know a thing about it. Where is he based?
He's based in Chennai.
And does he live in Australia now?
I think, yeah, he did move abroad I think he's like primarily a journalist. So.
And I think he did live in Australia for many years, but if I can trust Wikipedia, it says he doesn't live in Australia anymore. He's back home living in Mumbai.
Okay, Mumbai. Okay. So, but he's actually from Chennai. So Chennai is a city in the south of India.
Okay.
So it's on the eastern coast. He was brought up there. That's what I know.
So not back home in Mumbai, but he lives in Mumbai. You can have coffee with him.
Yep, I would love to. Yes.
You can make a video with him. I want to compare our Goodreads profiles in a minute, but before that, what's it like as a reader living in Mumbai? What's the literary culture like? Where do you find your books? Is it got lots of great bookstores?
Okay, so basically India has a lot of good bookstores. Like there's a whole bookstore chain which is called Crossword, and it's a wonderful chain. Literature in general in India, like the literary scene in India in general is like pretty rich because we have a lot of diverse authors. There are regional authors. So in India itself, you have like 1,600 languages, including dialects. Every state you go has a different author that you have to read. But if you do not know how to read the language, you'll have to search for the translation, which is like tough. Like I think you said Perumal Murugan. Like I think he was there in one of your TBRs.
Yes.
So he is from the state of Tamil Nadu and he writes in Tamil. So all his books are translated from Tamil to English, like that. So the literary scene is very rich. More importantly, I think earlier in India, the literary scene was very much for the privileged or for those who are from like elite backgrounds. But now it's kind of spread to the masses via YouTube as well, because there are a lot of writers who do write genre fiction too in general. And they also have these, I would say, mass appealing plots and stuff like that. So overall, if you see, the literary scene in India has grown like richer as compared to where it was before. But as of today, it's great. We have great writers who write contemporary literary fiction as well. And we have writers who write genre fiction as well. And I think there are a lot of book fests as well. India itself has a whole award for literature. It's called the Sahitya Akademi Award. So it's like the
Yes.
National Book Award. And their job's pretty tough because they have to judge books. I won't say from 1600, I would say from like 28 to 30 languages, because those are like the official recognized languages in India. They have to judge like too many books and they have to decide one, despite that being in a different vernacular medium. So it's pretty diverse. That in short, it's diverse and it's super rich.
And do you have any trouble getting books published in other countries? For example, getting
Published,
books from the
yeah.
UK or Canada or America? It's pretty easy, or can you get most of those online?
No, okay, you can get those online, but no, it's not much accessible. No. So I think that's why we do have like an ebook culture also going on as well. I know of one Instagram account which is run by an Indian, and if you ask them for an ebook, they'll just get one for you, and you have to pay like 20 rupees. That's not even $1. That's like 25 cents, I think. So yeah, I mean, new problems require new solutions. So you don't get a book from the UK, but you can ask someone to get it for you in an ebook format. Yeah.
In the future, I may be asking you to get a book from India for me, and I'll send you a book from Japan. Yeah, that works out well.
Sure.
Great. According to Goodreads, our compatibility in reading is 63%.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad.
I think that's good, right? Yeah, not
That's
bad,
not
actually.
bad. We both liked Ghachar Ghochar by Vivek Shanbhag.
Yep.
I loved it.
I love Ghachar. Yep.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Just a note, okay, so Ghachar was written in Kannada. So Kannada is again another South Indian language, and it was translated to English. So you'll find a lot of translated to English literature in the Indian scene. It was a great book. I loved it. You gave it 5 stars, right?
I did. And I believe I heard at the time that it was the first book in the Kannada language to be translated into English.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about the Association of Small Bombs by, can you pronounce the author's name? Karan Mahajan?
Karan Mahajan.
Karan Mahajan. You didn't like it so much. I bailed on it.
You hated it. Yes, I did see it.
Did you see it?
Even I think it's not a good book, but I want to know it from you because you just give it 1 star.
This was back in the day when I would give star ratings to my bails. I don't do that anymore. I don't think it's probably fair unless I've read at least half of the book. Rarely now do I actually give a star rating to a bail. But back in the day, I didn't care about that, and I did. I gave it 1 star.
So basically, like, I gave it 3 stars. Yeah, you can see it, right?
Yes.
I gave it 3 stars, and 3 stars in my dictionary does not means it's not that good. So basically, I have this rating system on Goodreads. It's like 1, 2, or 3. Like if it's 3, it's just a waste of bookshelf space. I just donate the book. When I give something 1 star, it's like this should not have been even being published. And when I give something 2 stars, it's like whose idea was this in the first place? I give it 3 stars and not 2, is because I really like the concept. This was Karan Mahajan's debut novel, right? And it felt like the concept which he wanted to implement looked pretty nice. Like it was a nice concept where, you know, everything comes like 360 degrees. I think I love those stories where you start with a character and you know, define the adjoining characters, and then you're back to like a full circle and you land up where you start. I love stories like that, and I love the concept, but I did not like the execution at all. Like the execution was very bad. But yeah, I think I can forgive him for its debut novel.
Has he written anything more?
I think he's written 1 more book, but I don't want to read it.
Yeah, it was just maybe a string of 4 or 5 bad sentences in the first 20 pages. It's like, no! So...
Before reading the book, I did see a review and I was like, oh my god, Shawn gave it 1 star? Like, will I even like this book? And then I started reading it and I realized, why did he give it 1 star? So yeah.
We pretty much agree on Caitlin Doughty's Smoke Gets in Your Eyes.
We do.
Yeah, that
was like
good.
Yeah.
I have to say that I wasn't as taken with it by the very end as I had the first half or something, but no, it was really good. I learned a lot. I don't think I want to, so for those people that don't know, she is a mortician, and she's written in kind of a comic voice. She has written kind of an insider's take on the mortuary business and what it's like to be an undertaker. It was the description of embalming that I didn't know any of that before, and I don't think I could allow myself or any of my loved ones to be embalmed now that I know what it entails. Like they actually have to kind of smash some of your internal organs to do it. Like it's violent and kind of creepy.
Like you do this, you take something and like do this.
Yeah, you just
correct. I enjoy. Yeah, I think that book teaches you a lot about death in general. And I think, I'll just share like this anecdote. I think I shared it in my review too. So basically, when I turned 21 or something, I wanted to pledge my eyes because I was like, you know what? It's like a good thing to do. I want to pledge my eyes.
What does that mean?
And
sorry, what does it mean?
So when you pledge your eyes, it means that when you die, you donate your eyes to someone who is in need of money. And I just turned 21. I was like, legal age for drinking, legal to go for like to do all the stuff you wanted to do in life. So basically, like you have this card in India which you sign. I think it's
donor
the
card,
same all over the world. You take the card. It's an eye donor card. So you sign it and you submit it to the hospital, and you need 2 witnesses to sign, stating that yes, I've seen this and this is like approved. And I walked up to my mom and I asked her, why don't you like sign this? I mean, and then she realized this is an eye donor card. I'm like, yeah. I can't even think about your death. I mean, this is not something that I can imagine. I mean, I cannot imagine you dying. And it kind of, and I felt bad about it because it's something I still want to do. I've still not done it yet because I have not got witnesses to do it. But that book just made me realize that how much of a stigma it is in the society around death in general. So yeah, I think I really loved that lesson from that whole book which she had written. It's a very interesting take on death in general. I think it's a must read. Everyone should read it because you're all are going to die one day.
It was an eye-opener for me. And if you ever get to Rohinton Mistry's debut novel, Such a Fine Journey, I think it's called. It's about, what is his Parsi, what's the name of Zoroastrianism, the Parsi faith, and their spiritual beliefs about death are fascinating, and it's a big part of the story. That I first learned about that tradition in the Dhoti book, and then it's quite central to the story of Mistry's first novel. So.
Where I stay, just close by, there is this thing called Tower of Silence, where the Parsis actually deposit their body at the top of the tower. So it's like a whole hilltop.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, the Tower of Silence.
Right, and there are vultures who come and eat you. That's how they basically dispose the dead, you can say. Yeah.
And it's integral part of the story for his debut novel. I learned so much. I was Googling this and Googling that. Oh, it was fascinating. Now, are you familiar with, I watched a movie that was about a Parsi family, and it was based on an autobiographical novel by a Indian Parsi writer who was gay and disabled. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't think so.
And I don't think I ever read the novel. I'd like to. He was born with a disability that made him to be very, very short. Firdaus Kanga.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not aware of this person. Nope.
Maybe that might be a good buddy read for us someday.
What's the name again?
Firdaus Kanga. He's a Parsi writer. He lives in London now, born in 1960. And his autobiographical novel that was made into a movie is called Trying to Grow.
Okay.
And the movie was called Sixth Happiness.
Okay, interesting.
There isn't much about him here on Wikipedia, but the movie, 1997.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we can talk about that offline. I'd love to read the book with you.
That's the best.
Jyotsna, it's been an absolute delight to have you here, and I hope you'll come back another day and we'll talk about books some more. In the meantime, I want to send all of my subscribers over to check your channel out.
Hello. Well, yes, thank you so much, Shawn, and it's been an honor to actually sit here and talk to you.
It's been so much fun. So thank you very much.